Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So earlier today, I was listening to Oshay Duke Jackson's Google Hangout. And the name of that Google Hangout is Should Black Men Protect Black Women Who Don't Belong to Them? And this Hangout follows the release of a viral video. And the viral video basically lays the groundwork for the whole discussion. So you had this situation where a pregnant black woman is at her car and you have this racist, fat, old white man confront his sister. He's all in her face. He's very confrontational, very aggressive, and he's threatening his sister. He's yelling, he's screaming, he's acting like a complete jackass, posing a threat to a pregnant black woman. And instead of just sitting on the sidelines, a brother sees this stuff happening. Instead of just sitting by and letting this stuff go down like that, this brother stands up the way men should stand up. This brother does what men are supposed to do, and that's to protect. This brother stands up. He confronts this white guy. He gets between this white guy and the black woman who's pregnant, and he confronts this white guy. He proceeds to argue, they have an argument, and the brother pulls out a gun, but he keeps it at his side. He doesn't point it at this white guy. And this stupid-ass white guy continues to argue with this brother and with the sister, continues to be confrontational, continues to be hot-headed, continues to be aggressive and threatening. The brother eventually puts the gun in the holster, and this white asshole proceeds to hit this brother. And the brother does what any man would do, and that's defend himself. He punches this white guy in the face. And then this white guy wants to play the role of victim. He wants to pretend like the black man is to blame for the situation. Typical white man behavior. Writing a check that his ass can't cash. Confronting this brother and starting a situation, provoking a situation, and then wants to play the role of the damn victim when he is the victimizer. Here he is harassing a pregnant black woman. He threatens to call the police, and I think he calls the police and this and that, and he tries to play the victim. But you had a sister recording this whole incident, basically pointing out what we know, that this white guy started the whole situation. So in the light of that situation, that whole viral video that I just described, you had a lot of sisters commend this brother and salute this brother for being a man, for being a real man, for doing what men should do. You had brothers release videos supporting this brother, talking about this situation. And as a follow-up to that, you had this Google Hangout on Oshay Duke Jackson's channel where you had this guy by the name of Super Sly 75 actually get on video and basically talk about how black men shouldn't do what that brother did. Basically talk about how black men should not defend women who are not a part of their family or who are not their wives or whatever. They should just let these kind of things happen. They should just sit back and allow this stuff to happen. And this brother went on to make these disparaging remarks about black women not appreciating black men who stand up. This man went on to talk about how women need to shut up and this and that. Went on to spout all this misogynistic, hateful type of rhetoric towards black women. The typical stuff that you see here on YouTube. And as I listened to that man, all I could think about was how this guy is a weak-ass black man. At the end of the day, that's what he is. At the end of the day, this is a man who's putting on this facade, wearing this mask, presenting himself as if he's some kind of strong man, somebody that's in charge, somebody that regulates his household, somebody that doesn't take anything from women and stuff like that. But really, that's a facade to cover up just how weak he is, just how hurt he is, how just feeble he is, man. It is nothing but cowardice for a man to basically say that he doesn't feel any kind of responsibility to his community. And that's what this guy talked about. He talked about how black people basically, the black community should just be allowed to just destroy itself. And then from there, the black community can rebuild or whatever. And he doesn't even look at the whole thing as a community. You know, he doesn't, his view is not in terms of like helping the collective or the black community. He has a every man for himself type of mentality, man. And I think that this just reflects cowardice. That's all it is cowardice. You know, this guy talked about how you shouldn't put yourself on the line because you're going to risk your life for somebody that you don't even know. You're going to end up dead or something like that, and nobody's going to look after your family. And I understand some of the concerns that he's expressing, but at the end of the day, it's nothing short of cowardice. A man is supposed to protect. A man is supposed to protect, first and foremost, his family. Then a man is supposed to protect his community and his nation. That's why they have things such as the armed forces in nations. Every nation that's worth its weight has an army to defend that nation, has soldiers to defend that nation, have police officers to defend the community and to protect people and stuff like that. Ideally, that's what they have. But you have men that aren't men. If you're not able to defend your community, if you don't even have a desire to defend your community, you cannot call yourself a man. You might as well call yourself a male. And even, you're not even that. You're less than a man if you don't have the heart to defend your community. If we don't defend our community, who will? If we don't defend our own, how can we expect anybody to defend us? And this is what Brother Malcolm taught us a long time ago. He taught us that the black woman is the least respected and protected member of the community. And at the same time that this Negro, this damn coward, this little bitch is on here talking about he don't want to defend black women, low key, he was basically putting white women on a pedestal. You know, talking about how, you know, basically talking about how they're an alternative to the black woman. And I'm not going to go into all the details. All you have to do is listen to the live stream yourself and judge it for yourself. But I think that that is an ultimate sign of cowardice. You can't build a nation or a community when you have a community of cowards, when you have black men that don't have balls, that don't have heart. You can't build anything like that. And we have to get out of this individualistic mindset where we think that it's every man for himself. As long as we're just a whole bunch of individuals out here, we will never advance as a community. It's only when we are united together and organized and mobilized that we can affect change and we can affect a difference in our community. And, you know, for people like this punk-ass coward, you know, this super sly 75, my question to you is this. If your mother was confronted by one of these white men, one of these racist men, and you weren't around, would you want brothers to just sit by and allow that white man to harass your mother, to abuse your mother, to harm your mother, to threaten your mother, to kill your mother? Would you want them to just sit there and chill and kick back like some bitch-ass cowards? Would you want them to do that? Of course not. If that was your sister or your wife or somebody and you weren't in a position to defend them, you were somewhere else, would you want a black man to step up to the plate and defend your loved one? See, we got to look at family in a much larger sense. We have to view our black brothers and sisters as family. And we need to love them like family. And when you love somebody, you do what you have to do to protect them, to improve the conditions that exist in our communities. Here we are. We have to be the ones to make a difference in our communities, man. It's up to us. And defense doesn't necessarily just mean some physical confrontation with someone. That can mean using the legal system. That can mean using the political system. That can mean advocacy work. All of those things are means to defend the community. Voting is a means to defend the community, the interests of the community. So we have to look at this thing on a larger level. As long as we look at ourselves as individuals, on our own, by ourselves, we will continue to be a fragmented community. We will continue to be an exploited community, an oppressed community. It's only through organization, unification, and mobilization that we're able to affect any kind of real change in our community. And that's the kind of mindset that we need to have. If you go to any other community, they're not going to let you just disrespect their women like that. How can you even ask for anybody to respect you or even expect anybody to respect you if you don't even respect yourself, if you don't even respect your own women enough to defend your women, a pregnant woman at that? And with this kind of punk-ass, coward-ass, weak-ass attitude that men like this have, like this Super Sly 75, it's no wonder that so many black women have basically took it upon themselves to take on manly characteristics, to defend themselves, to protect themselves, and all that kind of stuff. Because you got coward, punk-ass men that won't step up to the plate and do what men are supposed to do. You can't expect anybody to respect you if you act like that, if you act like a little bitch-ass coward. You can't expect any kind of respect. You know, I would rather die on my feet, you know, as many people have said, than to live on my knees. And that's what a lot of these guys do. They want to just live, just like the slave on a plantation. They want to live on their knees for a long time rather than standing up and risking everything for freedom, for power, for justice. I refuse to live like that, man. I refuse to live the life of a coward. You know, we need to follow the example of Brother Malcolm. We need to follow the example of the Black Panthers, the real Black Panthers, who had the courage to not just talk about police brutality here on YouTube, not just whine and complain about it like some of these race pimps here on YouTube. Those brothers actually confronted those pigs with guns, barrel to barrel, bullet to bullet. That's what courage looks like. Courage looks like a Nat Turner. Instead of being castrated, instead of being punkified and sissified by the system of slavery, this brother took up the mantle. This brother took up the weapons that were available to him and laid waste to his enemies, knowing full well that there was a good probability that that brother would die. In the words of Brother Malcolm X, freedom, you know, the price of freedom is death. And until people are prepared to pay that price, then they're not prepared to be free, man. They are comfortable being slaves. They are comfortable having their women disrespected. No other people operate like this, man. That is the mentality of a defeated people. That is the mentality of the slave. These other people go to war for their women. They risk everything for their community. And it's time for the black man to be a man. And there are plenty of black men that are men that will stand up. But you have a person espousing this view that black men shouldn't defend black women. And yet you have the nerve to call yourself a manosphere. You're not even a boy. You're less than a boy if you don't have a heart to defend your community. And this idea that black women should shut up is just ridiculous. You know, black women should be able to express their views, express their thoughts. You know, many black women have a lot of wisdom to share with the world, and the idea that they should simply shut up because they have a vagina is absolutely absurd.